Free audio post-production by alphonic.com.
Hi there. Today's topic is going to be a little heavy for me. Not sure if it's going to be the same for you. But yeah, it's important. So I wanted to speak about it regardless. The topic, I say it's heavy because it's also one of the most consistent challenges of my life, but also because the way I have been able to heal that part of myself is through this book, which not a lot of people have read. I'm pretty sure it's about pre birth planning. I mean, as a soul, people don't even know about the concept that before you take birth on earth, your soul has this whole meeting with other master souls and you come up with a life plan. So things that challenges that feel like those were destined in your life and it changed you completely are probably something you had already planned about. And I have discussed this in brief before as well. It has got nothing to do with the fact that everything and every moment of your life is planned. And when people start thinking of it from a victim point of view, these challenges are mainly planned for the evolution of your soul, because the more you are tested and challenged, the more your soul is refined and you understand things about yourself and why you are here deeper. That does not mean कि हमेशा वैसी ही चीजें चलती रहेगी. Free will is a huge component in this whole scenario. For example, if I want to learn the virtue of patience in my life and I have planned to learn that while I am on earth, there will be challenges and situations coming in my life that will test my patience. And unless I've learned the lesson, I might have to go through it. Will I learn the lesson? Maybe, maybe not. Really depends on my free will, really depends on my level of consciousness, really depends on a lot of factors that I am going through at that point: environmental, personal, how open I am, how much I want to change. So, free will is a huge thing, bigger than destiny as well. You might have planned a certain thing, God might have planned something for you, but you could completely ruin it with your free will. So don't think that जो भी गलत हो रहा है तुम्हारी लाइफ में वो भगवान कर रहे हैं या ऐसा कुछ है. सब कुछ तुमने प्लान किया है एज अ सोल, एंड अगर कुछ बुरा हो रहा है तुम्हारे साथ तो उसकी भी रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी तुम पे ही है, एंड कुछ अच्छा हो रहा है तो भी इट इज बिकॉज ऑफ योर एक्शंस एंड whatever you've planned for yourself. So, anyway, this idea of pre birth planning itself is very fascinating to me. And to know that life is not random और हर चीज़ के पीछे एक रीज़न है, बहुत बड़ा रीज़न है, that brings a lot of meaning to my life and how I see it now. I would highly suggest you look up those books. मैंने पहले 2 volumes पढ़े हैं pre-birth planning पे. I don't exactly remember the name of the books, but pre-birth planning डालोगे तो I think Robert Schwartz is the author, और उन्होंने ही इसके ऊपर बहुत vastly research किया है और लिखा है. So you will easily find those books. But yeah, you will be more open to understanding what I'm trying to say right now once you've read that book. This is a very small part of it, तो तुम्हें digest करने में पक्का इशू आएगा. तो प्लीज बुक पढ़ लो, फिर तुम्हें समझ आएगी चीजें बेटर. But yeah, if you're impatient and if you still wanna know, I just had to give the disclaimer that this is going to test some of your nerves and keep it in control. That's it. Anyway, so the topic that I wanted to share was my relationship with my dad, and it has been quite rocky and avoidant, like most Indian children. And it was mainly because I didn't feel like I was understood every time I had tried to speak my mind. It always felt like कोई अलग ही दिशा में जा रही है चीज़। मैं जो बोलना चाह रही हूँ वो लैंड ही नहीं कर रहा है इन द अदर पर्सन्स माइंड। एंड आई रियली स्ट्रगल्ड विथ टॉकिंग what I truly felt and what I valued in life, because it was completely opposite to what my dad valued in his life. So, while I was reading the book on pre birth planning, Robert talks about, I hope I've got his name right. If I haven't, please forgive me. But yeah, he talks about his relationship with his father and mentions how he had chosen his father and this challenge in his life before he was born, because he wanted to learn the lesson of self love. Because in a previous life, so okay, tum every time you die, you also see what you did in your previous life and कहाँ कहाँ तुमने कौन से गैप्स है जिस पे तुम्हें काम करने की ज़रूरत है, कौन सी चीज़ें हैं जो तुम अभी तक सीखे नहीं हो, वो सारे एस्पेक्ट्स तुम कलेक्ट करते हो एंड देन यू प्लान अनदर लाइफ डिपेंडिंग ऑन व्हाट more you want to learn. So, yeah, anyway, Robert in this case had struggled with self love in his previous life, and he wanted to cultivate more self love in his next one. So, he had chosen a difficult relationship, which is with his father, and he mentioned how that helped him cultivate more self love. Now, one thing to mention over here is souls usually choose challenges in their life because we learn most through those challenges, and सबसे ज़्यादा इम्पैक्ट उन्हीं चीज़ों से आता है जिसमें तुमने सबसे मतलब अपने कोर तक कोई चीज़ तुम्हें हिट कर जाती है, तभी तुम उसको देखते हो, तभी वो एक ऐसा डिफरेंट ट्रांसफॉर्मेशन निकल के आता है तुम्हारे अंदर से. यू वुड हैव सीन द लोज ऑफ योर लाइफ would have led to the most transformative moments in your life and were like a seed or the reason why you have become the person that you are. Might have hated it in the moment, but as you grew, you would have been able to connect those dots. So, with Robert, that happened. His dad was quite judgmental with his choices and everything that he did because, again, pre-birth planning was his thing, and he felt like this was the information he wanted to share with the world and something he was gifted with. But of course, his father did not understand that, and he would always judge him with those things. But there's this sweet part where both of them come to क्या बोलते हैं settle in a good way, while his father compliments him about his writing. He says that you write beautifully, but I don't understand any of it because the idea of pre-birth planning was so out of mind for his father. And yeah, at the end of it, both of them respect where they're coming from. And his father expresses his love for his son, and it ends beautifully. But the interesting part is where Robert mentions that he had chosen this experience in his life, and he strongly feels that because that has helped him look within and work on himself so much more. If he hadn't had that experience, if it was always filled with love and things like that, maybe he wouldn't have learned the lesson of self love as deeply as he had in the absence of love. So, yeah, a lot of souls choose to have challenges that are opposite of what they want to experience, because then they are able to appreciate the end result much more beautifully. So, for example, Robert did not grow up in a household filled with love, but since that was such a challenge, he was forced to learn how to love himself. And that is how he felt so much more transformed and valued self love so much more, because he had seen those parts of himself that struggled with the whole idea. So, with me, I definitely feel that there is some form of planning that might have happened when I would have chosen this experience. I'm pretty sure that I have chosen my father as well, and having a, a difficult father. Because when I look back, my relationship with him has been the single most thing that has brought me closer to myself and made me want to think more about what I value in life, who I am, and what is my whole purpose and meaning, and things like that. And I, for the longest time, had a lot of resentment about this whole thing, that why does it have to be this way, and why can't he change, and all of the things that I could have thought of, and why this, why that. And of course, I can't change the person, but now that I think of it, I feel like I very well could have chosen this experience, because if not for my father, I don't think I would have been as keen on getting in touch with my soul as I am today. And Robert mentions that souls do this because when there's a major challenge in your life, it becomes a center point of your life. And when something becomes a center point of your life, you can't avoid it. It is something you have to work upon and you have to deal with. And that is what happens with challenges. Since you can't avoid it, since it's a center point of your life, you need to deal with, and you will find a way to deal with it somehow. And once you do, you will have a profound sense of finding yourself, or the lesson you were meant to learn. So, in this case, since the relationship I had with my father was such a major challenge and a center point in my life, I was constantly challenged to think beyond, to have my own say in things, to stand my ground, to express who I truly am. It became strengthened because I was forced to, because I had to look into those parts of myself. And now I feel so much more transformed. If it hadn't been for the presence of a difficult father. And it does not go one way. I am pretty sure he has learned a few, hopefully few things from me as well. And souls come into that kind of contract, kind of a thing where both of you are benefited in some way. And I have very little knowledge on this right now. Maybe some years down the line, when I have a healing conversation with him, I might realize how it transformed him, like my presence changed him, or something that he had decided to work on while we were planning this whole pre-birth thing. So you do plan it with other souls as well. There could be a very high possibility that your best friend or the people in your close circle are souls you have already spent a lifetime with in previous lives, and then you decide on a life together again, and they become instruments of growth and beauty in your life. So yeah, anyway, now I have like a very healing sort of a perspective towards this whole thing, and it is very layered, which is why I suggest you read the book if you're interested in it. But I know for a fact that my dad and I love each other fully. Our ways of expressing it are different, and our understanding of world is so vastly different that somehow we've struggled to string the whole thing together. But I'm so sure that with this information, I am better equipped to look at his love and understand that this could be something that I've chosen for myself. And this helps me get closer to my own soul, or helps me learn something deeper about myself. And it's not something that I should be resenting. It's not something that I should be fighting against. It is something that I need to embrace and try to understand the lesson within it. So now I have such a different perspective around challenges in general and problems in my life in general. So, yeah, I just wanted to share this little thing with you guys. If you have had those kind of experiences, which I'm pretty sure everyone does, for the third, nth time, I recommend you read the book because it's beautiful. And secondly, I hope my experience helps you find yourself as well. If you made it this far, thank you so much for listening, and I'll see you in the next one.
Free audio post production by alphonic.com.